On Monday, almost a week ago, I received the Minimal phone in the mail. I posted a video and said I would answer any questions folks had. First, I'll share some of my impressions using it. This is definitely not the phone that is supposed to do everything perfectly. This phone is supposed to, at least in my eyes, after using it for about a week, make you use your phone very intentionally. So that does have some downsides. Let's take Duolingo, for example. You can see this app is missing almost everything. It's usable, but not a great experience. Let's hit start.
Ma sei sicuro?
You can see we're missing a lot of the buttons here. The Kindle app I really like, and this is exactly what this kind of phone is made for. I also really like that you can hit the spacebar and it moves the page one forward. This launcher is the one that the Minimal team recommended. It is called O Launcher. You swipe up, you start typing the app you want, and then once it matches only one app, that app opens. So it's nice and quick and uses the keyboard nicely. One thing I didn't do in the last video was give some size comparisons, which I think will be useful. So this here is an iPhone 13, standard iPhone 13, and this is a Pixel 4a, I believe. The thickness of the phone is definitely something that is difficult to get used to. You can see how thin the Pixel is, and then even the iPhone. The first question I was asked is, did you ever get the fingerprint scanner working? Since in the first video I said that during setup I could not get it working. And I'm happy to report that yes, I have my fingerprint registered. But I have two fingers registered. A quick tap almost always works. The issue is that when you try and register, you get no feedback. Eventually this will work. This takes about a minute. And Hologram 0889 shared that cases and screen protectors aren't shipping yet. That this phone doesn't look very minimal. It's just an Android phone with any screen and keyboard. What am I missing? You're not missing anything. This is exactly what it is. There were a couple questions on what network am I on and how are network services. I've had no problems with either Wi-Fi or LTE. I'm connected to T-Mobile through Tello, and it's been working great. No complaints. How is the battery life? So this one, I'll show these settings first. I've been using fast, and I have been, for the most part, using display brightness higher. I just turned it down because it looks better on the video otherwise. Doing, simple stuff that this phone is really good at, reading ebooks, texting, browsing the web. This phone lasted 2 full days for me. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, I used this phone, and then on Wednesday night, I charged it. I was around 10%. I think I would be okay saying this is a 2-day battery life phone if you use it moderately. I've only been using it for about a week, and that's what I've observed so far. And actually one thing I was most impressed about was the standby time. I didn't use it too much at all on Thursday and had a couple percent loss throughout the day. With the backlight on and the phone being used continuously, we do get fairly quick drain. You can see we're at 76%, and I started the video in the 90s. So throughout the video, keep an eye on that if you're curious. I'm talking on the Minimal phone, and I called my iPhone. I'm recording that audio, and I'm playing it now in the video for you to hear what it sounds like. Not the easiest to pan around. It's because it's using the Android app. It has a lot more detail than I think is really necessary. What would be really nice is if there were minimal specific apps that took advantage of the e-ink a little better. You can see it's definitely workable. The phone is not getting hot at all. It's actually quite cool to the touch. For the most part, the UI is fairly responsive. It has that e-ink kind of flair to it. The most annoying bug that I hit so far, which actually, as of this morning, seems to have fixed itself, was that the Alt layer of keys, so anything that you have to hold down Alt for, including all of the numbers, was not working in a lot of apps. In Obsidian, when I was typing in a PIN number to an application, which was specifically difficult because you couldn't bring up the on-screen keyboard. I'm not sure if there was an over-the-air update or something else. Did I receive a tracking number? Yes, I received a number directly from DHL. I think I got the tracking number on either Thursday night or Friday, and then on the Monday it arrived. So I think the nav bar here is these 3 buttons, and these buttons work just like they would on any Android phone. You hit that and you go home. This is the back button here, so you can go back, and then this is the task switcher just like on Android. For text editing, it would be cool, I feel like, if this allowed me to move around, since right now there's no arrow keys or anything like that. I've never owned a BlackBerry or any other smartphone with a keyboard. I have owned one of these kind of dumb phone slide keyboard candy bar phones. This phone is a little heavier toward the top than one of those phones would have been holding it sideways. So I think it's a little bit harder on this phone, although I do like how the keyboard is all spaced out. I will also show that the on-screen keyboard is always available through that little hamburger menu. There are some symbols that are difficult to get to. And when the screen gets like this, you press the clear button on the side and it cleans it up. So that's an artifact of the fast mode. All the Android-specific features that you would expect, like Android Auto, have worked totally fine for me. To sum it up, I don't think anyone thought this was going to compete with a flagship Android phone or an iPhone or something like that. What I do think this is a really good Android e-ink phone that has a keyboard, especially for a first-generation product. My main complaint, outside of some of the software bugs, the bulk of this device, I think it's, with its sharp edges and the width of it, it's just a little too big. I'm hoping that apps like Duolingo and others that I've shown, Maps, improve over time as there are more e-ink phones on the market. I think to a large extent that's outside of Minimal's control, which is why I don't want to knock them too much for it. As a small company, I think they were able to actually deliver quite a lot. Thanks for watching.